Good morning, my YouTube viewers. It is Palestine here. Welcome to my channel. I'm just getting ready to go to my day job, but I had a little bit of time, so I thought that I would make a video, although I've got lots of other things that I need to do as well because I'm studying Power Pivot. And Power Pivot is something that I've never really used, but I'm studying it because Power Pivot is used if you have lots of different spreadsheets. And so that's one thing that I could be doing, but I'm not doing it. I'm making this video. And so basically yesterday, after I made my video and put it on YouTube, I decided that I'd go ahead. I had done this thumbnail on the YouTube video, but I couldn't do my toenail because I can't reach my toe. So when I finished the YouTube video, I decided to go ahead and do the toenail and do the same thing on the toenail that I did on the thumbnail, which meant I took a nail file and I filed the nail down, and then I put the antifungal pen on it. And then while I was doing all that, my Sikh friend came, and he needs a lot of attention. And you can't just say to him, if you say to him, just put your bag away and I'll deal with it when I'm finished. You can't do that because he needs a lot of attention, and he's not able to just sit quietly and wait for a person to finish doing what they were doing. So while I'm over here trying to do my nail, he's over there taking all this stuff out and showing it to me because he had to show it to me. And I kept saying, yeah, just put it away. I'll look at it when I'm finished. And then he took some crisp and he put crisp on top of my phone. And I said, put those away. And I had to keep saying to him, just put it away. I'll look at it when I'm finished. And that's why people become exasperated with him, because he needs so much attention. People can't give him all the attention that he needs. And he won't just sit quietly and wait for a person to finish doing what they were doing. They want them to stop what they're doing right now. It doesn't matter what they're doing. He wants them to stop what they're doing right now and pay attention to him. And so that's why people can't cope with him, because people just aren't like that. So even though he kept showing me this stuff and I kept saying, just put it away, I'll look at it when I'm done, I did manage to finish my toenail, and I did manage to get these crisps off my phone because I was trying to watch the video that I had made. And then when I did all that, I was able to give him the attention that he wanted, because he can't just wait for you to finish. He's got to have your attention now. And then so we fixed dinner. He doesn't eat beef because he's a Sikh. And so I fixed him chicken and chips, and then I fixed the meatballs that he brought us for my boyfriend and myself. And then he got tired because he's exhausted. And so basically what happens, because he's exhausted and he doesn't get enough sleep, he doesn't want to sleep at his home, and it's his house, because the people that he lives with are just so awful to him that he doesn't want to sleep. So he goes and lays down on my bed and he goes to sleep. Well, obviously when he's sleeping on my bed, even if I'm tired, I can't go in there and lay on my bed because my boyfriend wouldn't like it. So I just have to sit in the kitchen and watch a video or study or do whatever I needed to do while he's sleeping on my bed. And he does that because his home life is so bad, his home life is so poor, that he doesn't want to be at home, and he's exhausted. So he comes to my house exhausted, and he takes a shower at my house because, again, because his home life is so bad, he cannot keep any of his things in his own house because the woman he lives with will damage it. So he wanted a shower. So I said, sure, take a shower. Here I am, destitute on the breadline, but I'm sharing my food with him, although he brings me food. And I'm sharing my shower with him. I'm sharing my bed with him. And he's got a perfectly nice house, and where he just has to, he's just confined to a room in the front of the house. And apparently this woman that he lives with is now going into his room and leaving the door open. And that upsets him. And then so finally he left. And he doesn't stay very late, thank goodness, because I like to take a bath, wash my hair, crawl in bed, and watch YouTube videos, and because YouTube videos relax me. And then so I put some Dettol on my thumb and my toe, just to try to disinfect it, because my big toe hurts, because I think it's probably something to do with a fungal nail infection. So I've been putting Dettol on it, even though the internet says that Dettol won't kill fungus. I'm just thinking to myself that even though it doesn't kill fungus, it might disinfect it, which will help. So I'm putting Dettol on my thumb and my big toe. And then so I went to bed, got up this morning. Oh, but I phoned my mother, and that's really the reason for this video. So I phoned my mother, and I said to her, I'm sorry that I didn't phone you last week. I said, but I had some problems, and I didn't want to phone you because of the problems that I've had. And I told her the problems that I had, the problem that I had with my day job, and then a problem that I had when I went to Bournemouth with my friend. And I told her that I don't want to go back to Bournemouth with my boyfriend's friend. And the reason why I don't want to go back there with him is because the day will consist of drinking in a pub and then going to the beach and laying on the beach. And I'll sit there all day long and watch everybody's things while they go swimming. So I just told my boyfriend, I said, that's not a good use of my time. It's not a good use of my time for me to do that. And then what happened was, it's getting a bit dark in here. I don't know why it's getting dark, but it is getting dark. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why it's getting dark. And then so basically, so I don't want to go to Bournemouth with that guy, because it's going to be just drinking at a pub, going to the beach. They'll go swimming, and I don't want people to see me in a bathing suit. And so I'll be there all day long watching their things, which I don't want to do. It's not a good use of my time for me to do that. If that's the way my boyfriend wants to spend his time, he can do it, but I don't want to do it. And then, so I spoke to my mother, asked her how she was doing. I can't talk to her very long because I only get like 100 minutes a month. So generally, it's me talking to her because I'm telling her about my day and I'm telling her things I'm doing. And my mom doesn't have much anything interesting to say anymore anyway. But if my mom wants to call me, she can call me. There's nothing stopping her from phoning me. She could ring up her service provider and say she wants to ring the UK. Can they give her a special deal to ring the UK? She could phone me and bother me. But no, she doesn't want to phone me. I have to phone her. Here I am on the breadline, destitute, and I'm spending £6.50 a month to ring for 100 minutes. So basically, our conversations consist of me talking to her because I can't talk to her very long. And so I want to get out everything I want to say. And she doesn't have anything interesting to say. She's pretty much housebound. Unless somebody takes her out, she can't go out on her own. And basically, so she told me that she was in a lot of pain, that her hip was hurting. And then she said her shoulder was hurting because when she had the stroke and she fell, it hurt her shoulder. So now her shoulder's hurting. And she says she's going to be taking painkillers. But the thing is that, and this is what I said to my mom, I said, yes, I said, you've had all of these life extending procedures. So, but what is your quality of life? Now that you've had all of these life extending procedures done, what is your quality of life? And she said, oh, well, before I had this accident, my quality of life was pretty good. Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't pretty good. It got to the point to where I really didn't even want to ring her because she was just laying in bed in pain, and she would ask my stepdad to rub this aspirin on her hip, and he didn't want to do it. And so she didn't have anything interesting to say because she was just laying in bed in pain. So no, before she had that stroke, she didn't have a good quality of life. I think for several months or maybe even a year, she was just laying in bed in pain. And so that's all she said was how much pain she was in. So my mom lied to me when she said her quality of life was good before she had the accident, the stroke, and the fall. It wasn't good. And, but yeah, so that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking, well, all these people are having these life-extending procedures. And what's their quality of life after they've had a life-extending procedure? So my mom, she had a pacemaker fitted, and that was a life-extending procedure. So she's had something called AFib. Well, my mom's morbidly obese because she's got people feeding her. And because she's got people feeding her, she's never going to lose weight. She did lose weight when she was in the hospital because I guess part of about a week or two she was just sleeping and she couldn't eat, and she was on like a food tube, a tube where they give you food, a nutrition tube. And I guess her feeders couldn't bring her food. But before the accident, and she had lost weight before the accident because she couldn't get up in the middle of the night and eat. But she's got feeders feeding her, so she's never going to be skinny. And basically, she lied. She lied when she told me that her quality of life was good before the accident. She lied. But she said that she had this pacemaker fitted a few years ago because she's got something called AFib. And she said that she was going to have the pacemaker fit. She was going to have, the only reason why she got the pacemaker fitted was so if she could lose weight, she wanted to have a hip operation on the other hip. And then so, but they told her they were never going to operate on her again because she's got AFib. And then so basically what happens is when you have a pacemaker and you have an operation, somebody from the pacemaker company has to be there because they have to turn the pacemaker off when they're giving you the operation. So somebody from the pacemaker company has to be there. And so that's why they said they were never going to give her another operation. Well, when she broke her neck, they had to give her an operation then. Well, they didn't have to. They could have let nature take its course. But they gave her an operation and they kept her alive. But she's had this life-extending operation. And what's her quality of life? You know, what's her quality of life? So these people, they don't want to let nature take its course. And I have an aunt, and she had a pacemaker fitted, I guess when she was in her 60s. But she wasn't overweight, and she didn't have a bad hip or anything like that. But I guess her quality of life is okay, but she's probably close to 90 now. She's 5 years older than my mother, and my mother is 84, so she must be 89. And then, but her husband, who was my Uncle Eddie, he died. He had Alzheimer's, and they had put him in a home because obviously she couldn't take care of him if he had Alzheimer's. But she was still going to visit him in the home, even though I'm sure he didn't recognize her. And so, but he finally died of Alzheimer's because you'll die of Alzheimer's. But you know what? So my aunt, I guess her quality of life was pretty good for like maybe 20 years after she had this pacemaker. And from what I understand, a pacemaker only lasts like 10 years. And then I don't know what happens. I don't know if they give you a new pacemaker I'm not sure exactly what they do. And then my boyfriend's mother, she got a pacemaker fitted as well. And I don't remember, I think maybe she's had this pacemaker for 7 years. But what's her quality of life? She's housebound. She can't walk. She has to walk with a little walker because she loses her balance and she doesn't have any balance. So she has to walk with this walker all over the house because she doesn't have any balance anymore. So she's housebound. And she's a single woman because she married a man older than her. And he had a bad heart when she married him. And their lifestyle of eating these big greasy meals with wine and pudding every day shortened his life. So she's been single since 2000 or 2001. So she's been single for the last 26 years. So she's housebound. So she's had this pacemaker fitted. Well, what's her quality of life? She couldn't have another relationship because she's on a widow's pension. And so if she goes into another relationship, then or marriage, she's going to lose her widow's pension. So she could only have friendships. She could only have friendships for 26 years. And she's been alone. And then she phones everybody and pesters them and asks them to come see her. But her cognitive decline is very apparent. If you watched my last video when I did a trip report to visit my boyfriend's mother, you know her cognitive decline is very apparent because she doesn't want to cook anymore, and she doesn't throw out moldy food, and it was just not a very good situation to be in. And she didn't like it when I told her, I said, you can't live like this anymore. She didn't like that at all. So these elderly people are having these life-extending procedures done. But what's their quality of life? So you're extending your life, but what's your quality of life? You know, my boyfriend said to me that when he delivers leaflets that he saw this old person, and this old person said, oh yeah, I can't wait to die. You know, some old people are looking forward to death, even me, because I think, well, what's in store for me? What's in store for my life? You know, I'm living in a tiny little studio apartment that I have to walk up 2 flights of stairs to get to. I've got my boyfriend, that's all I've got. And I've got my Sikh friend now. He's going to shorten my life. And then, and my quality of life isn't fantastic. And when I'm not able to work anymore, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen when I can't work anymore, because my quality of life is not very good. And I've had a life-extending procedure done. I had 2 lumpectomies and radiotherapy, and I'm on hormonal therapy. So I've had a life-extending procedure too, you know, so I'm not letting nature just take its course either. But are all these life-extending procedures, I mean, are they good? Because like my mom, she's had this pacemaker fitted, and she's lying and saying that she had a good quality of life. She didn't have a good quality of life, because I know I was phoning her and talking to her. But now she can take a shower. She's not in a neck brace anymore, and she's not in a helmet anymore. But she's still in a lot of pain. She said she's going to start taking painkillers. So what's her quality of life? And I just think a lot of these life-extending procedures, maybe they're extending your life, but they're not improving your quality of life. And I'm just waiting. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep going on. I had a life-extending procedure too because I had cancer treatment, but I don't know how long I'm going to be able to carry on. I hope that I'm able to work until I'm 80. I hope that. But yesterday there was something on the grapevine saying that they're going to be getting a new hospital. So one time, several years ago, they said we were going to get a new hospital, and it was going to be 5 years away. And I thought, oh, well, I hope I can still work until they get the new hospital. I don't know if I can travel to the new hospital. And then the government said they were going to postpone getting a new hospital. So this was the government saying it. So they said, we're not going to get a new hospital for 15 years. So that's going to be in what, 2040, 2041? And then just last week, there was some communication saying that we're not getting another hospital for 15 years. And then yesterday I read something. They're preparing to get a new hospital. They're looking for a site for this new hospital. So I don't know what's going to happen. I just have to keep looking through the communications to see if I can find out anything about this hospital, because this new hospital is going to affect my work, because I might not be able to get to the new hospital. When they make the new hospital, I might not be able to get there, and I might have to give up work or give up working at the hospital. It depends on where it is. And then, if that happens, I'll have to try to get some remote work, because my health is so poor, I'm not going to be able to travel to work. So I've talked about a lot in this video. I talked about what happened last night with my toes and my Sikh friend. And I talked about, do these life extending operations improve quality of life? And a lot of times I don't think that they do improve your quality of life, because my mom's life has been extended because they saved her life by giving her a neck bone operation. But she's still in a lot of pain, so she's going to be in pain the rest of her life. And then my boyfriend's mother, she's got a pacemaker, but she's just sitting in a house all alone, all by herself, begging people to visit her. So you just ask yourself the question. I said, is it better to have a life-extending operation, or should we just let nature take its course? So I don't know the answer to that question, since I've had a life-extending operation as well. So I've talked about everything that I need to talk about, and my boyfriend's waiting for me to finish this video because he's going to go to his day job. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching my video and taking an interest in my very pathetic life.